The first thing I must do is thank Angel for having the good taste to publish this book. But seriously, the Angel and Daxis have been staunch supporters of my work for several years now, for which I am eternally grateful. And that is, when you're a writer, you have no security. And to find a publisher like this is worth its weight in gold. And as I say, I'm extremely grateful to the press, and that is a debt that I will never sufficiently be able to repay. Burn Street Haunting, if you've read my last book, The Workshop of Filthy Creation, this is completely and totally different. The next one will be like Workshop, this one isn't. This is more sort of cosmic-y horror, mashed with kind of urban crime. If you'll like it if you're a fan of ghastly paranormal demons, underworld villains, and swearing. Which I didn't originally intend to put in, but there's an awful lot of words. I'm just judging that the audience here is over 18, so that would be all right. It's about a petty crook called Tom, who comes across a very large amount of money, goes on the run, ends up in a slightly seedy boarding house in Burn Street. He's chased by three things: the police, the criminal underworld, who know he's got this money, and he's also haunted by this thing that's been nibbling away at his soul since he was a kid. And the book is about, is this real? You know, is he just dreaming all of this? How real is this thing that's coming to get him? He gets to this seedy lodging house and falls in love immediately. Of course, he has to use a fake ID, so he has to pretend to be somebody completely different. And while he's pretending to be somebody completely different, he goes to the pub with his new girlfriend, and to his absolute horror, he sees somebody coming across the crowded pub who he knows from years ago. I muttered to myself, "You have to be fucking kidding me." His shoes scuffed to a halt in front of us. "It is you? I thought so. What brings you all the way down here to London then, eh?" His black country accent was as vowelish as ever. "Well," I said, I finished reading this week's Beano, so... They always said you were a lippy bugger." Jackie was giving me an innocent "who's this" look. I moved to stand up. "Come with me to the bar." "No, let me." He aimed a sharp whistle and a "same again" whirl of his hand at the bar. He turned a nearby chair around and sat tight up to the table, so I couldn't leave my seat without a lot of awkward "excuse me." His leather jacket creaked as he folded his arms, and his small, deep-set eyes flashed as he nodded towards Jackie. "Is this your bird?" "Fuck me, you're punching well above your weight, aren't you, fella?" I should say this is 1973. "Nice to meet you, love. I'm Detective Sergeant Deakin, West Midlands Constabulary. Call me Alan." "Jackie," she said cautiously. "Evans." Deakin's smugness and my silence must have given away our mutual hostility in an instant. "To answer your question, Thomas," said Deakin, "I'm on secondment, part of Sir Robert's new broom, scraping the shit of corruption off the Met." "Thomas," said Jackie. Deakin sniffed in amusement. "Oh, what's he calling himself tonight then, love?" I couldn't look in her direction. I felt my face burn and fumbled in my pockets for a couple of quid. "Why did you go and get the ladies in the corner another drink?" "The rate they're knocking them back, they must be parched." "I'm fine here, thanks," snapped Jackie. This copper has no stories you'll want to hear, I said. No, even though I'm sleeping with the main character in them. Deakin chuckled. Are you not with that ginger girl anymore? I can't remember her name, with the mouthful of teeth. Alison, I said, obviously I'm not. I've left all that behind for good. Understand? You, on the straight and narrow, frowned Deakin, twisting around. There's them fucking jigs. Left what behind exactly? Said Jackie. This is Thomas Markham, love. World famous back at my neck. Foil on him that eye. Never got so much as a fucking parking ticket to stick on him. Look at the fucking devil, him. I told you, I growled through gritted teeth. I'm done with all that. Under the table I squeezed my fists hard enough to hurt, trying to stop my anger pushing me into something I'd regret. A reformed thief. Bloody hell, I've seen everything now. Nah, you're down here grifting, I'll bet. Someone's planning a blag, or else you're running like a rabbit from some job gone wrong. I'll give you your due, mine. When I first laid eyes on you, I thought you was a narc. What? I spat. I did. A file like yours, and no convictions, didn't add up. Either a narc or Britain's least convincing undercover officer. One or the other. I kept expecting you to turn up dead in a Brummagem canal. Oh, I'm sorry I disappointed you. Miss Beehive appeared carrying a tray, clumped 3 glasses onto the table and disappeared in a sulk. You never fitted in with the rest of that pond scum, said Deakin, picking up his pint and taking a long swig. You lived in a different gutter. Most crooks are think as pig shit. Half of them can barely read. Not their fault, I muttered. Oh, DC, I was convinced you were bidding your time. Thought you were going to have a crack at one of the gangs. Then he's an even worse judge of people than you. Deakin leaned back in his chair. Nah. If you say you've turned over and you leave, you're about the only scumbag I might be tempted to believe. Might. I could barely hold back my rage. His squinting gaze shifted back and forth between me and Jackie for a moment. Oh dear, he drawled. Have I spoiled your plans for the bunk up tonight? If you want to kick his nuts, love, he's very touchy on a couple of subjects. For instance, his mum, mad as a... Shut up, I spat loudly, forcing the table forward with a rumbling screech. The students next to us turned round with raised eyebrows, and the builders on the other side took to their feet ready for a scrap. At that moment, Eve's group started to play again, and Deakin wandered back to the bar, shaking his head. Jackie pushed her way past the students and fled. The music drew the room's eyes away from us, and I followed her. As I passed Mrs. Philpott and her elderly friends, I heard Vi, or might have been Pam, stage whisper her conclusions to Pam, or it could have been Vi. Our ex-boyfriend, you know, modern girl. Outside, the night felt bitterly cold after the warmth of the bar. The sharp air, without the mist of tobacco, and what I'd drunk went straight to my head. Crowding headlights made a dimly shining river in the gloom. Amongst the winter coats, I glimpsed the back of Jackie's Afghan and her tall boots. Get off me, she hissed, breaking free without breaking step. Please, Jackie, I don't make this worse with pathetic excuses. Every bloody word a lie. What the fuck was I thinking? She suddenly stopped dead and I almost collided with her. I still couldn't meet her eye. Is there anything else you haven't told me? Eh? Perhaps it was you who swiped the World Cup. Are you helping the police with their inquiries about the Baker Street robbery? I'm sorry, I know I lied to you, and no wonder you were cagey about your job. You're not a writer at all, are you? What's the book called? My Life of Crime? Oh, no, of course. That's probably all fucking fake too. Got the sound of typing on a tape recorder, have you? You heard what I said to that clock. It's all over now. I've left that life, totally. Why? What? Why? What happened? Something sent you down here. You joining a gang of muggers? Couldn't resist the balaclava allowance? Has Ronnie Biggs slipped the net again? Got you cracking safes? Indecision tore at me. Tell her the truth. Tell her more lies. Tell her about the money. Tell her fuck all. I should have known, she fumed, barely keeping the tears out of her eyes, grabbing handfuls of her silvered hair. That That moon-eyed look you've got, always watching and thinking. I thought that was sensitivity. Oh no, you were just on the lookout for the bloody Rozzers. Steve bloody Smith. I wanted to start again from scratch. The name just popped into my head. Oh, obviously your parents aren't dead either. No, my dad died a matter of weeks ago. That's the absolute truth. Is it? How can I possibly tell? How can I? The shock sent her face folding, and she hurried on into the flow of people. Jackie, piss off, don't talk to me. I dithered helplessly, cursing myself, cursing my cowardice, cursing Diaz, fucking Emma, fucking Deacon. Outside a chemist shop there was a fiberglass horse, one of those coin-operated rides for kids. I kicked its back leg and it fractured, rocking the whole thing on its base. I kept kicking until the stupid bloody horse was gone, the air and the pavement spinning with shards. Passers-by ignored me at a careful distance. Never any damn peace. I don't remember how I got back to Burn Street. I must have been walking by instinct again and found my way home that way. Home. Thank you very much.